The big concern at the moment, and why I think South Africa is a big talking point in the US right now, is America in the next 20 years will become, for the first time in its history, a minority white country.
Well, that will be a very, very bad thing to happen. You want to see the US go down? Why? Oh, you don't like cars and electric cars, and you don't like technology, or what is it? You want to go back to the jungle, or?
If the US becomes a minority white country.
Yes.
So there's Latinas, there's blacks, there's people from all different races make up the majority, and then, you know, it could be 48% white people. Do you really think the US is doomed if it goes under?
Yes, it goes under there.
Seriously?
Yes, of course. You see, if you take South Africa, we have a small white population that projects the European culture, or what we learned from Europe.
And oppressed millions of black people.
No.
For decades.
How do you oppress? We gave them work, we fed them. They grew from a tiny little group into a massive group. That's not oppression, that's feeding them. Do you understand? You only grow big if you get fed. You only start at 800 and become 50 million if you get fed. We fed them, for crying out loud. You know, enough with this nonsense.
But so you understand, because the black population was so oppressed under apartheid.
Well, we never saw this oppression you're talking about.
You never saw it.
No, I never saw it.
Yeah, because you're white. The big.
Or what?
20 times more likely to commit sexual offences than
the Brits?
Yeah, native Brits.
The Brits that colonized the whole world, you mean? That raped and pillaged the whole world to get the power that they have?
The Brits, yeah.
Yeah, the Brits that did that?
Yeah.
And you guys have the audacity to say that the Afghans and Somalis did what?
Well, it's not audacity, it's just a fact.
Is it not a fact that y'all colonized the world through rape, murder, and pillaging? Right or wrong?
That was true, yeah.
All right, then. So what are you talking about?
British Empire.
So what are you talking about then? How dare you? How dare you?
Why are you shouting?
What are you? Because you're. That's why. How dare you? You're talking facts? Let's talk facts.
Being in my face.
So do something about it.
I'm not.
Do
I'm
something
a
about it,
journalist,
Brit.
my friend. I'm here.
Do something about it, Brit.
I'm here to ask questions.
How'd you get into this country? What are you talking about?
I'm here.
How dare you?
Why are you getting so angry?
Really because you're a piece of liar.
You know you're
a liar. You're a liar.
Would you like me to show you the
You're a liar.
data?
Bro, I just asked you. I just asked you, what did the Brits do to have the power they have? Answer that question. Answer that question. Answer that question. How did the Brits get their power?
Can you stop spitting in my face? What was the question?
He's speaking.
Why are you shaking? Why are you getting so angry?
Because drone is going, I'm holding everything back not to break your jaw.
Well, you can do it. You would get arrested.
I don't give bro.
You'll get arrested.
I don't give a
This doesn't make your argument look.
I came out here for
This doesn't make your argument look good. Came out
here to talk
for violence.
Yes.
Well, there you go. That's the left. That is the degenerate, violent left. You give facts.
Who started?
You came all the way over.
Who started? Who started?
You give facts, you give data, and they get violent.
Who started? I'm gonna finish it.
Started,
I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah, I wish you well, my friend.
Started, I'm gonna finish it.
Hey, why don't you go back to your country? No, I live here at the moment.
Oh, you live here?
I do, yeah.
How'd you get over here?
Let me say this right now. This guy's energy is the energy these racists deserve. This is exactly how they should be spoken to, and they should be responded to when they come out with their bullshit per capita. Well, this means that black people or brown people commit more crime, when white people are the ones who commit more crime. But they try to use per capita to justify why a smaller group of people are apparently they're more dangerous than more people who commit more crimes. Do you see how twisted they are? And he's right. White people commit most of the atrocious crimes, commit most of the grooming gangs, most of the sexual violence than any other freaking race. How else did the Brits get their power? How are they still pillaging, stealing, and raping now? You can't answer that. And he thinks he's coming across as calm. His words, his accusations, his lies are violence. And because black people have been through this shit for way too long, we don't need to put up with this crap. This is the energy they deserve.
This is gonna be an unpopular fucking opinion, and I'm gonna call you out since you motherfuckers don't seem to fucking understand. Every single one of you over there boycotting Asian business and spreading more Asian hate, you fucking black fucking people with your black fatigue, okay? And what your people call niggerism. Yeah, not my words, those are your people words. You people that is living in that black culture mentality, the poor victim mentality, thinking that people still owe you fucking reparation. Yeah, you motherfuckers. I'm the one talking to you motherfuckers. Every single one of you failing in life. And then you want to blame everybody else. You see this whole Cyrus case and Mr. Chow? None of this would have happened if you motherfuckers raised your fucking kids right. That fucking little boy witnessed some of his business trying to steal fucking water, okay? Now, I might not agree with Mr. Chow chasing the fucking boy and shooting him fucking in Timbuktu, okay, wherever the fuck he was. But here's the crazy part. If you had disciplined your fucking boy right, he wouldn't be in someone's store trying to steal fucking a 50-cent bottle of fucking water in the first place, okay? Not only that, you go and attack the fucking attorney defending his clients. And then here's the truth of the matter. Your people, there are 7 black jurors who found your kid responsible, making Mr. Chow, okay, not guilty because they understand your fucking culture, your mentality. You failed your kid. Your society failed your kid. Your mentality failed your kid. That niggerism fucking attitude failed your fucking kid. Now, if you can't reflect on that, and if you can't understand and take accountability for your fucking failure, this will continue. More black kids are gonna die. Your community is still gonna struggle, and your people will fucking continue to be in poverty. No one's gonna give you a fucking handout. Stop asking for a fucking handout. Stop thinking you're gonna fucking make bank off your fucking kid's death, okay? What you need to fucking do is self-reflect on your people, your culture, your fucking community, and stop blaming everybody else. Let me tell you, boycotting the fucking Asian community, they're probably thanking God that your fucking black ass don't fucking go into their fucking store anymore.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5, verse 8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor, and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who still rule and teach well, who taught me this 100% truth according to the measure of the Holy Spirit. And peace, blessings, and safety unto the Lord's elect. Scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing this word in humility and sincerity as commanded by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Salaki for the long intro, but I wanted to combine those 3 clips because I had the inspiration to do this video based upon the clip of Elon Musk's father, who basically said that, you know, there is no oppression. We are not oppressing, you know, those so-called Africans in South Africa, which a lot of them are Israelites. And this is what the deceiver, the devil, would do. And his justification was that, oh, well, we fed them. You know, they've grown in population and we fed them. You could feed somebody and still oppress them. You could feed a captive. I could lock somebody in a room and feed them to keep them alive. That don't mean that they're not oppressed. The scriptures say in the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, that we were fed from the face of the serpent. Matter of fact, I'm going to go there real quick. We're going to come back to this Psalm 64. But this is a video based upon how the wicked speak loftily concerning oppression. That's written in the Bible. And you're seeing it play out in real time on the planet Earth. This is Revelation chapter 12. In verse 14 it says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might flee into the wilderness, into her place. That place is talking about America. The woman is the nation of Israel, which is your so-called Negroes, Latinos, Seminole Native American Indians of Negroid and Indian descent according to the seed of the Father. You are the biblical Israelites. And that second woman, I believe she's an Edomite, but she looks like an Asian. You can see the hatred that she has for Jake, and she's justifying the the murder of that young Jake. I don't know his name, but apparently he was shot trying to steal a water bottle. Well, first of all, and that shows you the complete and utter disregard of the system that's truly set up oppressing the Israelites, because you're not supposed to have to pay for water. Okay, water is supposed to be free. So the fact that he had to steal a bottle of water in and itself shows you the violent perverting of judgment in this province. And the fact that the Moabite didn't have compassion enough to say, well, damn, he's stealing water. You know, it's not like he's stealing pop or candy or something that the body doesn't need. Water is a necessity to remain alive. So, you know, the fact that they didn't have even just a little bit of compassion to say, well, here, just take the water bottle, but don't steal in the future. The scriptures speak about if somebody steals to satisfy their soul. Matter of fact, I gotta read that. Bear with me because I'm driving. This is Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 30. It says, men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry or he is thirsty to the point where he just wants some water. But here this bitch go talking about, yeah, it goes, well, she said some things that were true about how it goes back to how we raise our children, and all that's true, but you can't negate. She talking about your society. First of all, it's not our society, and the society was set up to oppress us, and there are many checks and balances in place to keep the Israelites down. You Asians, so-called Asians, you Moabites, you Ammonites, you are one of those checks and balances. You are one of those taskmasters that the so-called white man has set up to suck the economic power out of our communities. And you're going to try to sit up here and act like that doesn't exist. And this is why the scriptures say they speak loftily concerning oppression. Okay? And then the third video was a Israelite man basically cussing out that British reporter who, again, they try to negate the history because they're ashamed of the history, but you can't escape what you've done. And this is why the scriptures call you the accuser of the brethren. Let's go back here to Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12, because I got a lot of scriptures in my mind, and I want to read them all. This is Revelation chapter 12. And I'm going to start at verse, I'm going to read 10 and I'm going to jump down to 14. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And that's what it is. Now you've set up this wicked system that has deeply oppressed the Israelites on a physical level and a psychological level, to the point where our people are inherently wicked. Even though they have compassion, they show mercy, they have a sense of uprightness about them, the way that they function in this society is based upon the oppression and the product of them being a product of their environment. And you can't negate that. You can't act like those things don't exist, but that's what you do. And you set up here with your media and you try to paint the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, as well as our people that look like the other nations, scattered amongst the other nations. You try to paint them as the face of crime, as the face of evil. But how did you get the world? How did you get the world? Like the Jake said, through rape, robbery, and murder. And so for Elon Musk's father to sit up there and say, well, we fed them. What the fuck? And if the whites become the minority in America, then America's going to be destroyed and it's going to go back to a jungle. Again, trying to rewrite history. Like we didn't have civilizations. Like we didn't have for example, the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latinos, like they didn't have gold out the ass. Like they didn't have beautiful civilizations and beautiful cities that were built here and that were organized and orderly. And you came and destroyed it all and tried to make it seem like we were stick people. Revelation 12 and 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place. Again, that place is America. It says, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. So yeah, you devils, you nourished our people, but you only did enough to keep us alive and make us work for you. and you destroyed us from the neck up. That's Deuteronomy. And this happened in South Africa as well as America, but mainly America. Deuteronomy 28. And verse 48, it says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee, meaning destroyed from the neck up. The yoke came off because we were already mentally destroyed. You know, we were at a psychological level where we were not a threat. Okay? And so, you Edomites, because that's your biblical nationality, you so-called white people, the Lord's going to judge you. There's a judgment coming for you, and the judgment is slavery. Okay? And you're going to see what oppression feel like. And our oppression is going to be worse. And it's going to be longer. And it's going to be harder. And our kingdom is going to be more beautiful. It says here in Psalms chapter 73 and verse 3, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. You put on violence like somebody put on clothes every day. Your nation has to commit some type of violence every day because you put it on like a garment. Nobody walks outside butt ass naked. So you never go outside without violence on your mind. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish. And Elon Musk's father is a good example of that, because Elon Musk is according to propaganda, he's the richest man on earth. So his father is wealthy as hell too. And they got more than the heart could wish. And yet they want to take and take and take and take even more from these, what they call poor nations. But the Lord gave each nation an inheritance, and that inheritance came with a set of natural resources that nation is supposed to use to enrich themselves and sustain themselves. You're the only one on earth that thinks that everything belongs to you. It says they are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Yeah, like they're above accusation. Like they didn't do anything. Let's go to the word loftily. Like they're above judgment. Oh, that was so many years ago. Loftily. Lofty. It says elevated in character and spirit. Elevated in status. Having a haughty, overbearing manner. The word haughty means to be disdainfully superior. And that's how they view themselves. Oh, we fed these niggas. They was monkeys swinging from trees. You didn't oppress them. If we become the minority, the world's gonna go back to a jungle. That haughty spirit. The lofty look shall be brought low, the scriptures say. Okay? And really, you're ashamed of your history. You're ashamed of everything that you've done. That's why you have to accuse us. That's why you have to accuse us, because you are ashamed of what you've done. This is Job. Job chapter 20 and 11. It says, his bones are full of the sins of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Yeah, your bones are filled with the sins of your youth, meaning your history, your legacy is filled with the sins that you have done, for the past 300, 400 years. Okay? And the atrocities get worse and worse the farther back you go. So you go back to the 1600s, the 1400s, 1492, the 1500s. There was nothing but slaughter going on. Even parts of the 1300s for places like Africa. There was nothing but slaughter going on from you devils. And like the woman said, that's how you talk to these reporters, because the words that they speak is actually an act of violence. And those are the scriptures I'm going to go into next. Okay? Because the words that you speak are actually formulating violence against the Israelites, because that narrative is spun, that evil web is spun, that web of lies is spun, and as a result, the Israelites fall into a deeper oppression. And it's justified because look at them, they're criminals. Look at them, they're savages. Look at them, they're gangsters. Look at them, they're thugs. Meanwhile, you're the biggest gangster, you're the biggest thug on the planet Earth. Psalms 57 verse 4. It says, my soul is among lions, and I lie even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue a sharp sword. Even going back to that Moabite woman. You know? This is what we've been dealing with for hundreds of years. But don't worry, the Lord's going to justify. The Lord's going to justify the righteous, and he's going to condemn the wicked. And ain't no courtroom and ain't no media going to be able to reverse that judgment. And the world's going to know who the real problem of the earth was. See, we're calling you out, and that's another reason why you're turning up the propaganda, because this truth is out here and you're being exposed for the liar and the devil that you are. So you got to ramp up the propaganda via your media. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 14. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords, and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, and the needy from among men. And that's you Edomites. That's you devils. That's your job. That's your goal. Is to use your media, your tongue, as the scripture says, your tongue walketh through the earth. You spread that propaganda of how the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Americans are the problem. Donald Trump set up ICE to deport only our people, only the Israelites. Meanwhile, you got illegal Arabs here, you got illegal East Indians here, you got illegal so-called Africans here, but all the oppression and the systems of oppression is set up to target the Israelites. And that leads us to Psalm 64, which is more proof that you're an Edomite, you're a descendant of Esau, and we're the descendants of Jacob. It says here in Psalm 64 and verse 3, it says, who whet their tongue like a sword. That word wet means to sharpen. Okay? And they do it, like I said, through their legislation, through their media, through the propaganda, through their movies, through the music. And who allows the music to be put out? Once again, they're going to try to ignore responsibility, ignore accountability. Oh, but it's your people. They're the rappers. They're the singers. Okay, but who has to okay the album to be released? And who tells them, nah, I don't like the content of this album. It's too conscious. Dumb it down. Like Lupe Fiasco, he had the song Dumb It Down, because he was expressing how the labels want him to dumb it down. It says here in Psalm 64 and verse 3, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, showing you that words can be an act of violence, like the woman said. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Right. So they do this in a way where, oh, it's subtle. It's not obvious. It's not obvious that we're racist because we just slip it into the evening news, you know. And the way that we talk about it is we generalize it, and we, you know, like for example, when the police, when they come to get Jake, they got guns drawn, they slamming him on the ground, and then you'll see an Edomite in the same situation, and they walk up to him peacefully, you know. Even if he's resisting, they ain't punching him in the face, they ain't kicking him, they ain't got 7 knees on his back, you know. So there's a clear double standard. You know, they don't, you know, the body camera footage is on, they're not talking about, let's go get this nigger. So, you know, you're thinking, oh, well, they're just fighting crime, but really there's an evil spirit, there's a hatred within their heart that they're covering up. It says, whose hatred is covered by deceit in the book of Proverbs. So it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. The perfect are the Israelites. Not that our people is perfect, but our people will be perfect. It says, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So this is how they operate, man. They operate on a system of oppression, which is set up behind closed doors, privately, privily. And so they think that nobody sees the deep thinking, the deep think tanks and the deep systems of oppression that go into the dynamic that is our current situation, man. But we see it. And surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, not a stupid, dumb nigga who want to assimilate and want to remain under the white man's thumb forever. But a wise man, oppression will make him mad. Ecclesiastes 4 verse 1. So I returned and considered all the oppression that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. Because everybody on the earth is speaking loftily concerning this oppression, as if it's not going on, as if, you know, we could just pull ourselves up by the bootstrap. Everybody has the same 24 hours. Everybody has an equal opportunity, equal rights, and all this other BS. Okay, when clearly, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American man in America, you don't get the same opportunities, and you're not afforded the same mistakes and chances that any other race is afforded. Okay? But again, that's why Scripture said we had no comforter. Okay? The only comfort that's coming to our nation is via the prophets and the truth of Yahweh Shem Shai, which gives us hope. And hope that is seen is not hope. So we don't have no, we don't see hope in this system. So what the hell is this Asian cracker, because I believe she's an Edomite, what the hell is she talking about, man? That all it boils down to is how we raise our children and our society and the niggerism. Well, who created niggerism? Who promoted that? Do you even know the history of America before your rice cake ass come over here talking shit? And this is all black jury. The all black jury let them walk free. Do you think the all black jury really had a hand in this judgment? It says here in Ecclesiastes 4 verse 1, so I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun. And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. On the side of their oppressors was power, but they had no comforter. See, because our power is coming. Our power is coming from the heavens to deliver us from the hand of the oppressor. And when we do, we're going to oppress those that oppressed us. And I'm going to close with that one, because this is the future that's coming to all you proud speakers. All you heathen. Isaiah 14 verse 1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. It says, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. The strangers are the scattered Israelites, pursuant to Isaiah 11. It says in verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And we're going to possess you not only in the land of the Lord, but in the entire planet Earth, the entire universe. It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. So we're not going to serve you heathen no more. As it says in Jeremiah 30, the same thing, that the Lord shall burst our bonds asunder, and the heathen shall no more serve themselves of us. We're not going to be to your service, but we're going to be to the service of our God. And so I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Wadash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. And Lord, when it was edifying, call me Asharalu. Shalom.